Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading here at MadWorldTarot. And I have the Edgar Allan Poe Tarot on the tarot table for this reading. This is going to be a deep dig into some rather mysterious and rather suspicious strands of thought. We're going to be looking at the impact of stress and even targeted hate on people's health. Two members of the royal family in particular, the King and the Princess of Wales. We're going to start out looking at stress, we're going to move through targeted hate, and we're going to go into the realms even of big space, kick attacks for the machine that censors us here on YouTube. And of course, for legal reasons, I have to say that this is all speculation, or just tarot for fun and entertainment, or just my opinion. I'm just reading energy, and there is a disclaimer in the box below. But I'm going to look at this because one royal commentator speaking on GB News, Mike Parry, raised the issue. I think quite a few have. But he in particular is one I noticed. He speculated whether the stress of having to sort out the Prince Harry situation over the last 2 years could have contributed towards the King's illness. He pointed the finger firmly at Meghan Markle, actually. He was talking about Meghan Markle's control over Prince Harry and whether this was affecting the King's health. And of course, there was a firestorm, cancer associations debating whether stress is a contributory factor to cancer. A lot of people talking about it. Something I think that a lot of people just think or feel intuitively is that all these modern kind of lifestyle diseases are stress related. And it got taken up on social media as well. And one Twitter commentator said, and I'm quoting, stress is a killer. No one has stressed the royal family more than herself in California. Her constant lies drove the Queen and Prince Philip to their early graves, and recent lies and endgame have put further pressure on the royals. That's just somebody's opinion. I'm just quoting what they put on a public platform. This was picked up by Myra on X, what used to be Twitter. Myra, very close to Meghan Markle, a lot of people suspect could even be a kind of alter ego for her. And Myra responded, early graves, Philip, spelled incorrectly, was literally 99. Shut the F up. That was Myra's response. She used the F word, not the way I've said it. So interesting that Myra should feel so strongly about this that she was forced to comment on it. We're going to have a look at this, as I say, for legal reasons, disclaimer in the box below, and we're going to look at it from an energy perspective, and I'm going to just be expressing my opinion through the medium of tarot cards. So no accusations, no fingers pointed. We're going to have a look at stress just generally and its association with illness for the King and for Catherine. We're going to look at the vitriol that has come from Harry and the impact of that on the King and on Catherine. Then we're going to look at the vitriol that has come from Harry's wife and the impact on the two royals who have been hospitalized recently, both with very serious conditions, as it turns out. Then we're going to look at whether there is, in fact, a campaign of kick attack. If this is happening, could it be happening? If it is, where's it coming from? And how serious is it? How damaging is it potentially, or could it be potentially? We'll keep it hypothetical. And we will ask if the royal family is aware of this or concerned about this. We will also ask if the royal family is responding, how it is responding, if it is happening, or how it's protecting itself against such things on the off chance that it might happen. And then the karmic consequences of anyone, one more shuffle, of anyone who decides to embark on such a course of action. So it's going to be a long reading. It's been a long preamble. Going to be a long reading. You might have to, I don't know, pour yourself a glass of something strong to get through it. But let's see what's going to come through in this reading. It's one I've been meaning to do for a while. The energy hasn't felt right. I think it was important that we got Harry's visit out the way. We saw herself pop up grinning in her Range Rover, responding to this comment on Twitter, and indignation. No, nothing to do with Myra's, the one Myra most adores. Shall we put it like that? Wasn't her fault at all. No blame there. And trying to squish these in so far, not too bad. You can see it's a long reading. Got most of the tarot deck out on the tarot table by now. Underlying energy, what do we have? We have the Four of Cups in reverse. The Four of Cups is about a sort of indifference and apathy and rejection of emotional advances. And a lot of people speculate that all of this trouble came from the fact that Catherine didn't give Megan a lift when she was going shopping, and she had most likely, many people speculate, got the paps lined up so that they could take photos of her arm in arm with Catherine, wearing her barber and her wellies, walking down a London high street dressed for the country, and girls out shopping together, besties, all of that sort of narrative. That would be the Four of Cups. Being rejected, feeling unloved. It's in reverse. It shows up as a kind of a therapy situation. There is a kind of a mental health element to this. I'm not a mental health expert and I'm not diagnosing. I'm speculating wildly here. Four of Cups in reverse. There is a sense, a kind of a wistfulness that if only this could be done over, it needn't have got so bad. And a lot of that lying on the couch is looking at the past and wondering what effect it's had and how the effect can be unraveled. And actually, quite simply, Neville Goddard. For those of you who are interested in such things, I'm sure many of you know Neville Goddard. Oh, good old Neville Goddard, the granddaddy of all of these things. And yes, easily unraveled. But that's a little diversion. So, the heart of this reading, what are we dealing with today? What are we dealing with? We're dealing with the Three of Wands. And this is a dark tarot deck, as you can see, and very deliberately chosen because of its mental health aspect, its sort of creepiness and its psychological issues and strangeness and, yes, untoward behavior as well. Three of Wands is about hopes and expectations, but also putting something out there. So when I say targeted hate, the Three of Wands in this context, in this tarot deck, in this reading, the Three of Wands would represent that, and the poor ghost ship being sucked into that whirlpool. It is an emotional vortex that is going to swallow, that haunts and terrifies. And so that's the energy that's coming through. Not a normal reading, not a normal tarot deck. So in case you're learning tarot and you're sitting there with your biddy tarot interpretations and you think, where has she got this from? From the cards themselves and universe speaking through them. So let's look at stress, just generally. Stress as a cause of illness. Stress, as this particular person said on Twitter, X, stress is a killer. That was their opinion. We have Eight of Swords. Stress as a killer, might be some truth in that with the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is about fear. It's about feeling hemmed in on all sides, as you can see. Swords are thoughts, difficult thoughts. Thoughts can also be messages that are sent, for instance, letters or thoughts, targeted thoughts. And definitely pinning that person down, definitely making them feel trapped, making them think that there is no way out. Stuck in that fear mentality, and fear, of course, very bad for the energetic body, which translates into the physical body at some stage. So yeah, we've got a nod from the universe. Is stress related to ill health and diseases like cancer? Yes, according to the universe. So let's look at the king. Impact of stress on his health. King's the middle row, Catherine's the bottom row. Page of Cups in reverse. It has affected him. It's upset him. He's somebody who doesn't like conflict, by all accounts, would rather ignore it, would rather put his head in the sand, learned from his mother, who was not great at dealing with emotions, couldn't deal with Diana because of the emotional volatility that Diana exhibited. It's all there in the new book from Ingrid Seward about Diana's behavior, quite manipulative emotional behavior. Perhaps at least one of her sons learnt some of that at her knee. Page of Cups in reverse is falling out with someone, and it's emotional. It's also children, so there again, falling out with a child or being cut off from grandchildren, upset. Famously, the Page of Cups is the apology card in the tarot, and offering a communication of love or loyalty or apology, and it's in reverse. This whole saga of the apology, the king is sitting there scratching his head and thinking, what have I done? What am I supposed to apologize for? In fact, he's probably spent most of his life, or certainly his sons' lives, at some level apologizing to them, trying to make up to them for the way his marriage with Diana went south, and the craziness and the press and the awfulness, and then she died and it was even worse. Yeah, very upset, definitely hurt feelings, the Page of Cups in reverse, but more puzzlement about what actually went wrong. How about Catherine and stress? Just generally stress. Oh my word, Three of Swords. It's caused her an immense amount of heartache, all that has gone on. We haven't even got to the Harry and Meghan columns here yet, but we've got the Three of Swords. It's broken her heart. It's absolutely broken her heart. Stress. No secret about that. None at all. One of the worst cards in the tarot, the Three of Swords. Betrayal. She feels betrayed. And I have seen in recent readings on her that she feels also betrayed by the royal family and by her own husband at some level, of not being protected enough, being called upon time after time after time to do the right thing, rise above, take the high ground, forgive, all of that stuff. It takes its toll, and it has taken a toll, Three of Swords, very much so. So that's that one. How about Harry? Harry and his impact, his vitriol on the king and on the Princess of Wales. A signifier for Harry first and his attitude to them. We've got the Five of Swords. Conflict. Fighting. That's what he's done. Five of Swords. It's interesting the way this card is depicted, because everybody has been cut to pieces by this conflict. It is in reverse, so it's sort of relentless conflict that has hit them. It's the first thought that came to me when I saw that card and the artwork on the card is that actually the one who's most been affected by this conflict that Harry has unleashed or expressed or always felt, always stirred up, is Harry himself. But it's a pretty graphic depiction of what that level of conflict can do. So let's have a look at the king. Harry's vitriol towards the king. What impact has it had on his health? We've got the Two of Swords in reverse. The king has been forced to make a choice that he didn't want to make. It's a bit creepy, that. The moth flying overhead. I'm sure lots of you know what I'm talking about in terms of prophecies. But the Two of Swords in reverse, I don't want to conjure it up, so that's why I'm not saying. Two of Swords in reverse is somebody who has been forced into a difficult position, a difficult decision that they really haven't wanted to make, very uncomfortable, having to pick a certain path, having to pick one son over the other, forced into it. Upright, it's delaying, it's hesitating, it's not knowing really what to do. As I have already said in this reading, he does like to avoid conflict, and a bit of a ditherer possibly when it comes to things like that. He has been very clear from the day that the Queen died and he made that speech and wished Harry and Meghan well and their new lives overseas. It was very clear from then on that he was in Team William's camp, really, and that is the Two of Swords in reverse. So it's pained him, it's difficult. The Two of Swords is not an easy energy to be in. How about Catherine and the hatred, the vitriol that has come towards her from Harry in his book, the Netflix documentary? The Empress is the mother card, is the woman. I think that she feels that this energy is coming from Frogmore Cottage. The mother energy, the female, the dominant female, which is the Empress at Frogmore Cottage. There's the mausoleum. We know who's buried in the grounds of Frogmore Cottage in the mausoleum. Bit of a spooky place by all accounts, and I'm sure even more spooky now. So I think she knows where it's coming from. Who she blames, shall we just say. So let's move on to Harry's wife. Her vitriol expressed towards the King and the Princess of Wales in various forms. Herself, a signifier. We have the Knight of Swords in reverse. That's a very aggressive energy, the Knight of Swords. Ruthless, fast acting, doesn't really consider the consequences because it does come in sharp. It's all elbows. It's vicious words, attacks, but because it's in reverse, the attacks can be stealthy. They can be hidden, or they can really be a surprise, a kind of a guerrilla attack when you least expect it. When you're on a royal tour in the Caribbean and then you find yourself in the midst of an enormous controversy and all being kind of stirred up behind the scenes by people adjacent to, and that is the kind of energy that the Knight of Swords expresses for me as a tarot reader, as an energy reader. How about the impact on the King? Of course, he famously was quite taken by her, thought she was lovely, walked her down the aisle, well, halfway down the aisle. Impact on him and his health, we've got the Moon in reverse. The Moon is very much the body, strange, weird disorders of the body, to do with hormones, to do with emotional disturbances, moods, those kinds of things. That's Moon territory. It's in the reverse, so it's an extreme form of it. It's also fear and doubt and suspicion. She's made him feel very confused, not knowing what truth to believe, who to trust, fearful. The second time I've got fear energy in this reading. The Moon is about fear, walking through the woods on a moonlit night, and the things that leap out at you, are they real, are they imaginary, that kind of energy. But it is kind of mental disturbance, emotional disturbance. I think he finds it difficult, like his mother found it difficult to deal with emotional disturbance. He didn't deal well with Diana's emotional outbursts and her up and downs, didn't deal well with that at all. And the Moon card is a Diana card. It reminds him of Princess Diana. Is that deliberate? Or is it just spookily coincidental? I leave that open to you to decide. How about her impact on Catherine? The Who Made Who cry, bullying Charlotte allegedly at the dress fitting, might even have got a little bit physical there at the dress fitting. If you know what I mean. Things like that. Impact on Catherine's health. And we have the Queen of Cups in reverse. It really has upset Catherine a lot. Queen of Cups is a mother energy for me as well. Very upset. She was very hormonal. She'd just given birth. Hormones all over the place. Here's that Charlotte's coming home in tears, being treated very badly allegedly by both ladies at the fitting. Jessica Mulroney also, according to the rumors, nobody knows for sure, so I have to say for legal reasons allegedly. And Meghan of course has complained that it had nothing to do with her. She was lovely. Catherine made her cry. But there it is, the Queen of Cups in reverse. That's somebody who's in tears, who's distraught, can't believe it, can't control their emotions. They really they felt that they did their best to be sympathetic and supportive, which would be the Queen of Cups upright, but it ended up crazy, because we've got two crazy cards here. We've got the Moon, and the Moon is cray-cray. and that's one of our, well, it is our theme today really, cray-cray, strange behavior, cray-cray behavior, and the Queen of Cups also cray-cray, can be, just out of control. So emotional overwhelm that two people just didn't know how to deal with, not their usual environment, not the world that either of them has come from. They've come from, sure, James Middleton suffered from very severe depression, but I don't think that they're used to people kind of bouncing off the walls and screaming and shouting and sobbing and saying terrible things and flinging themselves all over the place. That's the energy that's coming through here. That's what we've heard, rumored. We have no proof. But that's the speculation that is the kind of behavior that was involved from this Knight of Swords in reverse. Interesting. We get on to the next area now, the real kind of weird one. It's highly speculative. We're going to ask whether there has been any kind of directed, I'm calling it sidekick attacks, or just for the machine. Has there been anything like that going on? I got the 10 of Pentacles. The 10 of Pentacles is the big money and establishment and institution card. If it's going on, it's aimed very specifically at the royal family, at the institution, as certain people like to call it, at its ability to endure. And of course, two of the heavy hitters were taken out quite smartly. As Myra said, early Graves, Philip was literally 99, shut the F up. But it's interesting that both departed quite swiftly after Megxit, shall we say. And now we have two of the most senior royals hospitalized at the start of this year 2024, if you're watching this in 50 years time. So that's interesting. If there is, and this is speculative, completely hypothetical, if such a thing were going on, who would it be coming from? Who would be orchestrating it, engineering it, the source of it? And we have the Queen of Pentacles here, and that would be the wife, because the Queen of Pentacles is a wife energy. So that is what universe has decided to tell us through the medium of tarot. The Queen of Pentacles, female energy, strong female energy that's very invested in the material world, and normally a very positive energy. But it's given us an answer. We're doing a dark tarot reading today. As I did warn you at the start, we're going into strange and speculative territory, and that is the answer that has come through. So how damaging would such a thing be, hypothetically, if it were happening? How damaging would it be? And we have the Ace of Swords in reverse. It would be very damaging. The Ace of Swords upright is truth, justice, honor, clear-sightedness, clear vision, clarity of thought. In reverse, it's toxic energy, it's lies, it's duplicity, it's clouded vision, it's cutting energy, it's unjust behavior, cutting out kind of energy. The Ace of Swords is a very surgical card. So we're talking about health and health consequences. A consequence, a possible, potential, hypothetically speaking, consequence of such a course of action could be surgery. So, are the royals aware of such possible threats? Let's put it like that. Awareness, concern about such possible things, are they? We've got the Nine of Cups in reverse. I would say yes, because the Nine of Cups upright is very happy, very peaceful, contented energy. wish is fulfilled. In the reverse, it's unhappy energy, it's discontented energy. It's a bit similar to the Four of Cups in reverse. It's someone's dream didn't materialize, didn't manifest the way they hoped it was going to, didn't turn out the way that someone dreamed it would. The fairy tale did not come to pass. So I think they are aware that because the fairy tale was ruined, there have been some issues. Another thing I have to say about the Nine of Cups, it's a pregnancy card, and we have a lot of mother energy in this reading. We have literally the mother with the Empress. We have the Queen of Cups in reverse, a very upset woman. We have a wife energy there. We have a Nine of Cups there. And the moon. Let's not forget the good old moon. Most maternal of all, because it's the body and it's birth and it's things like that. Well, the High Priestesses too, but very much so. And Nine of Cups in reverse, some issues around pregnancy, children as well, that could give rise to this kind of unhappiness or this kind of behavior. What steps would the royals take, or would they contemplate taking, or are they taking? Protective measures, responses, if they suspect such a thing, what would they do? Five of Pentacles, banishment, exile, go away, distance, cutting out, casting out. Well, that's cutting out, casting out. So that would be their response if such a thing were to happen, or they suspected such a thing were happening. They would banish, they would put distance, they would say you can't come and stay at Frogmore Cottage, for instance, anymore, not while the Wales family is living around the corner at Adelaide Cottage. Just an example of a response. Karmic repercussions for someone who chose to go down this rather poisonous path. If someone were to embark on such a course of action, what would the karma be? We have the Six of Swords, the good old sea of troubles that's come back to haunt us. It's the Six of Swords. You might think you're leaving your troubles behind you with the Six of Swords, but when it's in reverse, your troubles are going to stay with you. You are not going to be able to shake them off. They will haunt you. And what did we have at the beginning of this reading? We had a ghost ship circling around the void, around and around and around. And I think that that is a consequence as well. That behavior, that energy. I think that I have said enough. And hopefully there's food for thought in here. All, as I have to say, speculative, and of course, disclaimer in the box below. I'll see you on the next one.